Deal with Will TV, welcome back to another episode. If you're new here, I'd like to welcome you as well. Hey, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you like content like this, because I have a feeling that you will. Earlier this week at a mall in Wisconsin, a Somali couple were the victims of racial profiling, and it points back to having something to do with the hijab. Now, this comes in the midst of all of the black fatigue stuff that's been going on in 2025. White people are absolutely sick of black folk, and apparently it doesn't just apply to black people that are FBA. I have a few videos that I've clipped together, one being the incident in question, and the other clip is about Somalis in America and people's temperature regarding them being here. Without further ado, let's jump right into it.
Visualizing your body makes you a better person.
Are you recording?
I'm gonna record you. Yes.
You want me to draw water on you? I am racist.
So idiot, for
And
real.
you are an
idiot. No,
I
I'm
am
not.
racist, and I'll say that to the whole entire world. Don't be disrespectful.
You ruin your life, by the way.
She just said it to the whole entire world.
Oh, talking about
Bye.
you talking about respect? You talking about respect? You are fired from this place, man. You're not gonna be working here. Sackwag. Look how you talking about ugliness?
Did I stutter?
You're the ugliest person I ever seen in my life.
Good.
Fuck.
You're fucking
No, we're
face
not.
for
No,
what?
we're not. No, we're not.
Because you know damn well you're a
That's
fucking
respect.
evil
That's
fuck.
respect. Keep squeezing that caramel, bitch. Get the fuck out of here.
That was meant for you.
As much as I despise racism, I do have to say that I appreciate people who are upfront about who they are and what they feel. Now, as I said earlier, I think this is all really interesting. You heard her call that couple the N-word. These are not FBA. These are not traditional Black Americans. These are Somalis. So apparently it had something to do with the woman wearing a hijab. We'll never get the full back end of that story. I got this video from TikTok. Their cousin posted it. So it's only one side of the story, but anytime you're using a racial derogatory term, you're never going to fall in the right. However, a lot of Americans do believe she is in the right. You don't believe me? I'll show you right now. A GoFundMe was set up, a Give, Send, Go, with the goal of over $100,000. This is not even up to date. Last I checked, she raised over $75,000. This just happened earlier this week. The ability for them to raise that kind of money this quickly should send a message. What message is that, you may ask? White people are going to stand together. And I'm not so sure that the lady from this video was even a white American. It kind of sounded like she had an accent. It doesn't matter. White people are going to defend their own. What is the lesson in that for Black people or for POC, people of color? It's that we need to stand by each other, support each other the same way that they do. O'Shea Duke Jackson talks about it all the time. The Black community doesn't back each other the same way that we see in other communities. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I am mixed. Father was Black, mom is white. I identify as mixed. I don't play that cute game where I'm white or Black. I try my best to look at things objectively, fairly, and make my assessment from there. Now, real quick before we get into the next clip, I want us to remember these Somalians, these Africans, are the same people who poke fun of African Americans, who poke fun of the FBA diaspora, okay? But whenever it's convenient for them, they'll ask for a helping hand whenever they experience a little bit of racism. And look, I'm not saying that what happened to them was right. I think it's abhorrent. I think it's terrible. And I don't think any human should ever have to go through that. But it's just a little food for thought. Like, where are these same people whenever African Americans need help? You know what I'm saying? In this next clip, I came across this video earlier. A lot of you guys know who Anton Daniels is. Some of you like him. Some of you can't stand him. And I think this is a valuable conversation that we need to have. And without further ado, it looks like this lady is from the POC community. I'd like to hear what she has to say.
Somalis. I don't want them in my country, and they bring absolutely nothing of value here. And I know people are going to sit there and scream and cry, oh my gosh, the statistics, they're so racist. But at the end of the day, the facts are the facts, and I'm not going to apologize for that. I mean, genuinely, what have they brought of value here? And I'm not saying that they're all bad on an individual level. I understand that people who lack nuance aren't going to be able to comprehend that as a collective they're bad. Individuals, I'm sure that there are some that are fine, just like any other population. But if you look at the violent crime statistics, you would see that it's not stopping when they get to America. Somalia has a terrible problem with violent crime. They come into places like Minnesota, and despite being an extremely disproportionate amount of the population, their violent crime rates are sky high. It's absolutely disgusting, doing some of the worst atrocities like raping young girls, because over there in their country, they do not value women. They do not see them as an equal, and they are totally okay with things like child marriage. In fact, when there was a law proposed to raise the marriage age to 18 years old, the protests got so bad from the grown men that the courts decided that they were just going to leave it at the age of 9. Is that what you want brought into your country? Is that what you want around your wives, your sisters, your daughters, just other human beings? Is that what you want to bring into this country so that you could feel better about being a white warrior? I'm sorry, that's absolutely disgusting. We know that once they got into this country, were they grateful? Did they work harder to make it better? No. They scammed the welfare system out of millions while Tim Walz just sat back and allowed them to do so. That's absolutely abhorrent. We know that Somalia is one of the most dangerous countries for Christians going, so why would we bring them into a predominantly Christian country where they're going to go around trying to propose their views, force their views down people's throats? Because in Islam, that's something that's seen as permissible to do. We know that they have a huge terrorism problem, so why would we invite that into our country? Just because a country is poor and struggling does not automatically mean that it's America's problem. I'm sorry, but they're poor and they're struggling because of who they are as people. So many other countries have been dealt a bad hand and they've been able to figure it out. Countries such as Somalia aren't able to because of the people living there. We do not need to import them to make our country worse. Sorry.
I agree with her.
Wow.
Because I don't think that this has anything to do with racism against Somalis whatsoever. This has everything to do with cultural norms. This has everything to do with whether or not they're taking advantage of the system. When you talk about violent crime, which I wasn't even familiar with that statistic, that's news to me. But it makes sense because you don't change who you are just because you move. You take you with you. So if you move to another place, but then you adopt the same principles, which accurately explains all of the fraud that's now being uncovered over in Minneapolis and people finessing the system, and Ilhan Omar completely ignoring it, acting like she sent the letter and all of that. Well, now it starts to make sense.
So in case you didn't know, there's a lot of Americans who are just not very fond of Somalis. The black fatigue term has kind of expanded into an immigrant fatigue for a lot of people. You know what? I will be the first one to say I believe in America first. Citizens of America, black people, white people, Mexicans, Arabs, whoever is American, it shouldn't even be a question, right? You would think, at least. Now, the young lady made an awesome point about how a lot of times when people come to America, they don't really bring much of value. They bring a lot of those same cultures, habits, morals over along with them. And a lot of times we need to look at what are those cultures that they're bringing in. It was mentioned that in Somalia, it is legal to marry a girl at the age of 9 years old. I mean, America and Somalia are worlds apart as far as our morals, as far as our belief system. And I just think that that is something that needs to be acknowledged. But again, I will say no one deserves that type of racism that was displayed in that first clip that we saw. I don't want that to be what America is about. I don't want that to be how we are here. Like, I do want us to be welcoming here. I think people in other countries should strive to try to get citizenship and become American. I love our country, and I think if we are diversified in the proper way, I think that's an excellent thing. But my fear is that as animosity continues to grow amongst American citizens for communities like the Somalians, that we're going to see more and more acts of racism like we did in the first clip, except it's only going to be worse. How do we fix that, you may ask? I think the only true way is to take care of home first. Start building up inner cities. Start putting more money and resources into marginalized communities. But I don't want to get too political. I think that this was an excellent topic to cover, and it is a segue into what this black fatigue has become. And I think it's an even deeper discussion of FBA versus Africans, or FBA versus everyone else. Like, welcome to America. You're finally feeling it too. I'm curious to see if you know more, or if you live in any of these towns in Minnesota that has heavy Somalian communities. I want to know if you've experienced any acts of racism in your life. Hopefully you haven't, but this isn't a perfect world. And as long as it's not perfect, things like that are going to happen. So that's all I got for you today. And trust, guys, I'll holler at you very soon. Peace.